Discuss Tagore's opinion about European capitalism and imperialism as enunciated in Nationalism in the West. Answer. Tagore's Nationalism in the West is a fierce critique of the Western concept of nationalism. He vehemently protests how pervasive, pernicious and fatal the West is to the entire humanity. The nation of the West is an automated force which has crushed our moral and social culture into dust to obtain its selfish ends. Western nationalism, according to Tagore, is a combination of spirit of conflict and conquest which does not aim at social cooperation. He believes that it can be an emblem of perfect rule or power, not of spiritual idealism which touches man to be kind and compassionate to his fellow beings. It is like predatory creatures, who ate their prey voluptuously without feeling their degree of pain and suffering. Thus, it is taking man to the age of wildness when there was no civilization. Besides, the Western nations duly control the colonies to develop as they have themselves been, so that they may fill their treasure by economic ruin. But nature knows how to limit such crude forces because the moral law is the law of humanity. He eventually judges that one day, such a giant called the nation will be destroyed in its own flames of gluttony and madness. Tagore describes how India has received law and order from the English to stabilize society during her period of Western colonization. It was the real need for our country because of the multifaceted imbalance that she had. However, it is merely for the protection of the system which is running doggedly here, and for the benefit of the human beings who are its part and parcel. Indians were accustomed to living a simple and natural life which by the advent of the English got completely spoilt. The men who walked barefoot were strong and powerful individuals, but those who walk protected and privileged today are mere puppets of modernity devoid of individual strength. Freedom introduced to us and in many parts of the world by the spirit of the West as a part of its own chain, is a merciless pageant of its velour and concepts. It is not real freedom, according to Tagore. Prior to this, India had pliability in the society which encouraged the men of power to hear his society, and any change could be brought by the consent of the governor and the governed. But India, which Tagore has placed in the category of no nation, has become a powerless toy in the hands of the nation. Life here is suffocating and unnatural for vast strength of territories with thickly populated states. In this way, we have become victims of freedom. Tagore opposes the European invasion fiercely which has brought India to a sorrowful state of pathetically drained society, where man has lost all his virtues and values to the bleak prospects of modernity. He has witnessed how freedom is practiced on individuals in Japan by the government which educates or rather trains its men and women to work like a machine for the country without any spiritual inclination because they desire to turn their entire nation into a power generator. Giving the example of Sparta, a prominent city-state in the ancient Greece, Tagore tells us how excessive of everything is bad. One day, such a power play will cut the throats of men by dangerous wars and bankrupt humanity. The nation will be destroyed as Sparta was amputated. At one point, this concept of democracy is leading man to his unnatural death. On the other hand, it is giving this delusion to him that he is free to go to any extent of utilizing his power. Tagore, not a part of this rat race and dirty display of power, says that he leaves man to contemplate on his sorry state of affairs which is the gift of modernity and the Western rule. I ask you, what disaster has there ever been in the history of man, in its darkest period, like this terrible disaster of the nation fixing its fangs deep into the naked flesh of the world, taking permanent precautions against its natural relaxation? Finished. Please share this channel to help any student pursue a degree in English literature. Please do not forget to like, share and comment.